Hi everybody, I just wanted to make a quick little yoga flow for you today, just to get a little stretch in. Should only last about 20 or 25 minutes, closing with the Shavasana today. So go ahead and grab a mat, grab a water, and join me seated on your mat. Now that we're seated, go ahead and move your sit bones around, ground yourself into the floor, maybe take your feet so that both feet are on the floor, and then close your eyes, hands maybe to your knees. Inhale in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Maybe go ahead and think of an intention for your practice today. Could be as simple as staying warm on a cold day. Could be creating heat within the body. Could be relaxing. It could be as simple as, I just want to think about me for 30 minutes. Okay? So think of your intention and repeat it to yourself 3 times mentally now. You probably just heard the bells ring. That's Charlie. I'll show you her at the end of the video. Okay. So in your seated position, go ahead and drop your chin to your chest. Feel the lengthening of the spine from the crown of the head. Inhale here, and then exhale, drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Taking a breath here, feeling the lengthening through the left side of the body, maybe walking the left hands out towards the side. And then dropping that chin back down to your chest. Inhale in through your nose, and on an exhale, drop the left ear to the left shoulder, taking a breath. And then maybe walking out through the right fingertips. Feeling the lengthening of the right side of the body, and then drop down, chin to chest. Go ahead and repeat this a few more times. Inhale, and on an exhale, drop the ear to the shoulder. Walking the fingers out if we would like. Chin to chest. Inhale, ear to shoulder. Walking the fingertips out. And then chin to chest. Let's go ahead and come into a sturdy tabletop. So let's go ahead and plant our hands underneath our shoulders. Put your knees underneath your hips, play the drums with your toes, and then plant them onto the floor. Once we plant them, we'll feel our hamstrings starting to work, our quadriceps maybe flexing, pushing our heels of our hands into the mat and every single fingertip. Let's go ahead and first come into a cat pose, inhaling, rounding the spine, gaze coming to the belly button. Exhale, dropping the belly button towards the floor, rounding through the hips. Coming into a cow pose, gaze coming forward. Exhale, rounding through the spine, gaze to the belly button. Repeat this a few more times at your own breath. Inhales into cat, exhales into cow. You can probably hear Charlie crying to try to come into the room here with me. On your last cow pose, go ahead and come back into a sturdy tabletop position. Do whatever wiggles your body needs to start. And then flip your toes, and we're going to draw our knees off of the ground and just hold for a moment. Inhale here, and exhale, release those knees back to the ground. Inhale, knees coming up off the mat just a little bit. Now drawing those hips up towards the sky, coming maybe onto our tippy toes, and then releasing the heels onto the ground, ears in between our elbows, coming into our first downward facing dog. Maybe for this downward facing dog, you want to take your toes to the long edges of your mat and drop your heels in towards each other. And let your heels sink onto the mat just a little bit farther. Taking inhales in through your nose. Exhales out through your mouth. Maybe you want to walk those feet back into a normal downward facing dog, whatever that is for you. And maybe find stillness in this pose for one more breath. And then bend at the knees, bring your gaze to your fingertips, and walk those feet in to meet your hands. From here, we're going to come into a standing forward fold. A standing forward fold. Inhale here and exhale. Maybe taking your toes out wide. Hands to your opposite elbows and take your elbows to your knees. Not forgetting to breathe. Then go ahead and walk those feet back into a normal standing fold, whatever that is for you. Inhale one more time here. Hands to your hips, draw up through your elbows and come to standing on your mat. From here, take a break for 1 second. Take whatever wiggles that your body might need. Then I'm going to have you inhale, hands up to the sky. And from here, Urdhva Hastasana, reach those hands up towards the sky, reaching through those shoulders and then relaxing the shoulders back, opening the hands towards the sky, palms facing each other. Go ahead and relax hands to heart center. Take whatever wiggles your body needs. And then go ahead, inhale, arms up to the sky. We're going to go into a gentle little standing back bend. So take your fingers facing towards the back short edge of your mat. Just creating a little arch within the body, within the spine. Whatever yours looks like, whatever you feel in the lower back right here, that is your pose. Inhaling here. And then exhale, hands to your heart center, and maybe round through the spine and try to reach for the toes without bending the knees, just like a little rag doll. Just for a moment to kind of counterbalance that little pressure that we just put on our lower back. From here, let's come into a mountain pose. Draw your shoulders up to your ears, palms facing the front edge of your mat. Draw those fingertips down your spine, trying to reach for the heels, drawing up through our kneecaps, which then tightens through our quads. If your chest is way out, bring it back in, just like neutral and comfortable. And close your eyes. Inhale in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. In through your nose. Out through your mouth. Then just go ahead down and plant those hands around those front foot. Take your left foot back to the short edge of your mat, bending through the right knee. We're going to come into a warrior one. So let's go ahead and drop our left heel to the ground. Our left toes are going to point up towards the short edge of our mat. Okay. Bending through the right knee, knees over our ankles. Inhale, hands up to the sky. Warrior one. Staying strong in this back leg, pushing into the back foot. And then exhale down once more. Let's go ahead and take our right foot back to meet our left. Let's take a little vinyasa, so Chaturanga Dandasana, to upward facing dog. To a quick downward facing dog. And then I'm going to bring the left foot up in between the hands. Repeating the warrior one on the opposite side, dropping the right heel to the ground, toes pointing towards the short edge of our mat, knees over our left ankle. Go ahead and inhale, hands up to the sky, pushing into this right side of the leg. And then exhale, down once more. Hands around your front foot, left foot back to meet our right. Let's take a little vinyasa, Chaturanga Dandasana. Flip the toes, upward facing dog. And a quick downward facing dog. From here, let's go ahead and bring our right knee into our chest. Don't put it down yet. Then go ahead and drop it on an exhale. We're going to come into a triangle pose. So go ahead and drop this back left foot. Okay. Come up so we're in like this little warrior one, but we're not really doing our hands just yet. Okay. Straighten that front foot. I'm going to have you take your back left toes and point them to the long edge of your mat. Okay, so we're almost in that warrior two-like position. I'm going to have you take your arms out to the sides, pour your little teapot over like you're reaching towards that front right foot, and then maybe your triangle pose is hands to your quadricep, maybe it's hand to your shin, maybe it's hand reaching to the inside of that right straight foot. Okay, inhale here. And on an exhale, bend the right knee. Then go ahead and pinwheel those hands up into a quick warrior two. Take our right foot, bring the toes in towards the long edge of our mat. Take the left toes towards the short edge of our mat and straighten like we're going into almost a warrior two on the opposite side. Take your hands out to the side and then go ahead and reach towards the back edge of your mat, tilting your little teapot over. Maybe your hand comes to your quadricep, maybe it comes to your shin, maybe it comes all the way down to the floor around that the inside of the left foot. Reaching through the hand towards the sky, bending through that left knee to avoid the pressure, pinwheeling our hands back up to a little warrior two, left toes in so that they're parallel to the long side of our mat. And let's bring our hands to our heart center. You guys know I love doing this stuff. So let's go ahead and bend our knees just a little bit and then jump our feet back into a standing Tadasana pose. So by this point, 10 minutes into our practice, we are probably getting a little bit warm, or maybe it's just the heat in this room here for me. Give me a moment. Okay. From here, let's come to standing on our mat. And then let's go ahead and sweep the mat around our feet, bending at the hips, coming into a chair pose. Inhale here, feeling this tightening of the quadricep muscles. Maybe your feet are wide, making it a little bit easier. If you would like it a little bit more difficult, feet together, sinking those hips down towards the ground. And then go ahead and release those hands to the mat. And go ahead and come into a forward fold. From our forward fold, inhale halfway up, hands coming to our shins. And then exhale, release down once more. Maybe this time walking those feet out just a little bit and taking our peace out fingers and taking them to the insides of our big toe. When we do this, I would like for you to draw your nose towards your knees. Some of your pose, you might be like, this is it for me, okay? And that's okay. If you want a little bit of a challenge, try to draw that nose towards the knees. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. From here, let's go ahead and bend those knees, plant the hands, and time for a little challenge. Can you jump back without making any noise? From here, let me move back so you guys can see me. Let's lower halfway down into a Chaturanga Dandasana. Then push up to the high plank. Then a Chaturanga, high plank, Chaturanga. Let those tops of the feet come down to the floor. Let's go ahead and come into an upward facing dog or a cobra pose. Inhale here. Exhale here. Inhale here once more. Then flip the toes, draw the hips up towards the sky, and sink those feet back into a downward facing dog. Maybe walking your dog. When I say walking your dog, maybe just coming onto your tippy toes and then releasing one heel back, then the other tippy toes and releasing the heel back. Walking through those hamstrings. Taking your dog for a walk. Then maybe finding stillness and trying to release those heels down. Shaking your head no to see if your ears are in line with your shoulders, in line with your elbows. This is a relaxation pose. Would you believe me if I told you that? Let's go ahead and release down onto our hands and knees. And then let's sink back into a child's pose. So knees can come as wide as your mat. Toes come together like a V. Then just sit back on your heels. Then take your hands right in front of you just a little bit. Then maybe come onto your elbows. Then maybe extend out through the hands, trying to release the chest onto the ground. Maybe you come onto your chin. Maybe you come onto your forehead. Take a breath here. Inhaling in through your nose. And on an exhale, maybe sinking a little bit deeper into your child's pose. Inhale here. And exhale through your mouth. Maybe you want to bring your hands back by your toes and let your whole body kind of release onto the mat. Maybe come onto your chin. Taking a few breaths here, just taking a little bit of pressure off the wrists. Maybe you want to bring your hands together like you're clapping, and then draw your shoulders down towards the mat. your head can relax on the floor. Maybe your clapping hands just come overhead with your fingers facing the sky. Inhaling in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose. And on an exhale, go ahead and walk those hands out in front of you. Gaze can come to your fingertips. Claw at the floor, every single finger coming into the mat, and pull those palms on the mat, coming into an extended tabletop here, almost like a modified kind of push-up. And then from here, walk the knees underneath your hips. Okay, so walk them in. Flip the toes, and I'm gonna have you come into a downward facing dog. From our downward facing dog, maybe you wanna come into a three-legged dog. So maybe we wanna lift the right toes off the floor and extend those toes overhead, coming into the sky. Three-legged dog, finding balance here. And then take that right knee into our chest. And we're gonna come into a pigeon pose. So we're going to drop the knee onto the mat, the right knee onto the mat. Take the toes and walk them over as far as you can towards the long edge of your mat. Maybe wiggle back through these back toes, sinking that hip down onto the mat. Okay, then you can go ahead and release the back top of the foot on the mat. Maybe this is your pose. Maybe you want to take your left hand to your right foot and walk that foot out so it's on that long edge of your mat. Okay? Coming into a pigeon pose. If you have something that you want to stick underneath this hip to support it a little bit, that would be perfectly fine. And then maybe you just want to sit in the discomfort just a little bit. If it's painful, definitely don't do it. But recognize here the difference between pain and just discomfort, because the discomfort might mean our hips just need to be stretched. Let's inhale in through our nose. And out through our mouth. In through your nose. Out through your mouth. Then I'm going to have you go ahead and plant your hands around the top of the right shin. And I just want you to push pressure on both your hands so you can lift up through the right hip. Okay, so that you can lift that right hip off the floor. Go ahead and take the right foot back to meet the left. Take whatever wiggles your body might need. And then go ahead and lower all the way down onto the mat. From here, we're going to flip our toes. We're going to push up into a high plank and come back into that downward facing dog. Maybe taking some wiggles, walking through your dog. Find stillness for a breath. Inhale in through your nose. And exhale through your mouth. Then go ahead and maybe come into a three-legged dog with the left toes lifted into the air. Okay. Left knee come into your chest and then hold it for a moment and then drop the left knee to the mat. I'm going to have you go ahead and bring your left toes out towards the long right side of your mat and walk the right toes back just a little bit so you're sinking that left hip onto the floor, and then release the right top of the foot onto the floor. Maybe this is your pose right here. Okay, a lot of us are used to doing this. Maybe you want to take your right hand to your left foot and walk it out so that the bottom of your foot is on the line of the long side of your mat. From here, let that left hip sink onto the floor. If you want to shove something underneath it, like a book bag or a block or a pillow, you can. Recognizing the difference between discomfort and pain. Inhaling in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Then go ahead and plant those hands in front of the left shin, pushing those hands into the ground to release some pressure on that left hip. Then go ahead and take the left foot back to meet your right. Take whatever wiggles your body needs. And then let's go ahead and lower all the way down onto your mat. From here, flip your toes. We're going to come into a high plank. And then bring your right foot in towards the back of your right hand. And then the left foot in to the back of your left hand. And then we'll come into a yogic squat. Some of yours, this is it. And that's okay. Some of you might sink all the way down. Take a breath here, close your eyes, think back to that intention that we set at the beginning of our practice. And then exhale, release your butt onto the ground and come to a seated position, wiggling out through our legs. We're gonna do a little closing sequence. So we'll go ahead and do Janu Sirsasana, which is head to knee pose. So go ahead and bring the right knee into your chest and give it a hug. And then push the right knee out. You don't want to give it a hug anymore. And bring the bottom of the right foot to the inside of the left quadricep. Flexing the right foot, flexing the left foot. Your hips are going to want to open towards the opening in your hips, towards the bent knee. So go ahead and walk your spine over so that it's facing the left straight leg. Inhale, arms up to the sky. And then exhale, release down. Some of your pose might be to your quad, to your shin. Some of you might reach for your toes, drawing your nose towards your knee. Some of you might be in full pose, grabbing for your wrist around your ankle. Breathe into your pose. Inhale here. Exhale, maybe try to bring that nose a little bit closer towards your knee. And then walk those hands back up, right hand out to help that right knee into your chest. And then give it a hug again. And then push it back out to straight because you don't want to give it a hug anymore. And then wiggle out through those legs. We're going to repeat the same thing on the left-hand side. So left knee into your chest, give it a hug. And then push that left knee out. You don't want to give it a hug anymore. And flex that left foot and bring that flexed left foot to the inside of the right quadricep. Your body's going to want to open towards the left bent knee. So let's go ahead and walk our hands and our spine back over in front of this right straight leg. Inhale, arms up to the sky. Exhale, release down, maybe to our quad, maybe to our shin, maybe all the way around the right straight leg, reaching for your wrist, nose to your knee. Whatever your pose is, wherever you feel it, that is where you should stop. Everyone's pose will look completely different. Inhale, maybe come up just a little bit, and then exhale, try to release that nose a little bit closer to the knee. Notice the difference when you flex versus when you're leaving your foot just like out and about. So do the difference here. So just leave your foot here, don't even think about it, and draw your nose to your knee. Now walk back a little bit, flex that foot, and then draw your nose to your knee. You can feel the whole back of the leg working there. Go ahead and push yourself up to seated. Left hand out to meet the left knee. Bring it in and give it a hug. And then take it out to straight. You don't want to give it a hug anymore. And wiggle up those legs. From here, let's just come back onto our backs. One of our last poses before Shavasana, just because I think it feels really good. Okay? We're going to bring our right knee into our chest and give it a hug. And then bring your left hand to the outside of your right knee and draw the right knee across your body, coming into a supine twist. You can leave your right hand out like a goalpost or take it out like a T. If you want your pose to be deeper, you can leave that left hand on the right knee. You should feel a large stretch in the spine. Breathe here for a moment. Trying to release the right shoulder onto the ground to get a twist in that spine. And then exhale, bring that right knee back to neutral and give it a hug. Feeling the lower back, then push into the mat. And then extend it out to straight and wiggle out through those legs. Same thing on the opposite side, left knee into your chest, give it a hug. Right hand to the outside of the left knee, draw that left knee across your body. Feeling the stretch and the twist of our spine. Hand can be out like a goalpost, can be out like a T. Right hand can stay on the left knee if we would like a deeper stretch. Trying to release the left shoulder onto the mat. Taking a breath here. And then exhale, release that knee back into the chest. Let the body ground into the mat, the spine go right into the mat. Give it a hug, and then take it out to straight. Take whatever wiggles your body needs. Maybe you want to cover up for your final pose of Shavasana and put your socks on or your hoodie back on. That's what I would do. We'll stay here for a quick 2-minute Shavasana to close our practice today. Take whatever wiggles your body needs. Maybe your hand is to your heart and your hand is to your belly. Feeling your heartbeat. Maybe your hands are to your sides and your feet are almost as wide as your mat. And you're laying like the anatomical man. when you're finding stillness and calmness in this pose, if your mind wanders, just think of the 2 words that I say all the time during class. Inhale in through your nose. Exhale out through my mouth. Tell your body when to do these things. Inhale. Exhale. Telling your body when to do these things and thinking about these things happening within your body gets our mind to just slow down for a minute and think back to the basics. You're not worried about your math test. You're not worried about the weather. You're not worried about your phone. You're just simply worried about inhaling and exhaling. Inhale in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Take 3 more rounds of breathing here. You've gone through your 3 rounds of breathing. Start to wiggle your toes. Just little movements, and wiggle your fingers. Then maybe draw circles with your toes and your wrists. And then maybe go the opposite way with your circles. Maybe draw your feet into your hips. Maybe windshield wipe those feet back and forth. And then go ahead and roll onto your right hand side. I'm going to roll to my left just for 2. Take a final breath here. And then push yourself up to a seated position on your mat. Maybe close your eyes for a moment. Think back to that intention that you maybe set at the beginning of your practice today. Inhale into that intention. And exhale anything that you think is holding you back from reaching that intention. From here, open your eyes. Inhale, hands up to the sky. Bring your hands together and exhale your hands to your heart center. Like I say at the end of every class, Om Shanti, the light in me honors the light in each and every one of you. Namaste. Great practice today, everybody. Thank you for joining me. If you did join me, I'm going to see if I can get Charlie to come in here. She's been dying to come in here. Come here, Charlie. So you guys will get to see my golden retriever. Come on, baby. Here's Charlie. Here's my yoga dog. Say hi to everybody, Charlie. I have a treat in my hand. No, you won't say hi? There's Charlie. I hope you guys enjoy your day. I will see you soon. Bye, everybody. Oh, you did a yoga pose.